Hello there, good people, and welcome to It's a Shaw Thing. I'm your host, Rob Shaw. We're talking some college football today, my friends, and I guess if you're nationally ranked, you're probably a little nervous entering this weekend after all of the upsets that took place last weekend, and that's where we're going to start. The question is, will lightning strike twice for the Beavers? Last week they defeated USC. This time around they're on the road against Utah. Now this will be a very different story because Oregon State is horrific so far on the road. They lost by 8 at Stanford. They lost by 31 at Penn State. Granted, Penn State's one of the best teams in the nation. This is just a very different team once they leave their home turf. That being said, Utah, one of the more impressive teams as far as their offense. They've scored at least 25 points in every single game this season, and they have all been victories thus far. This is going to be a good test for them because their secondary is a little weak. Oregon State will have some room to move there, but Utah, very good on the ground. I expect them to eat up the clock, eat up the possessions, and because of that, control this game. They will avenge last year's loss 24-7 to Oregon State. Home field advantage certainly is a difference maker. All right, next up we have another good game to discuss. 7th-ranked Texas Tech taking on Kansas State. Now, Kansas State not ranked right now, but they were ranked on 2 occasions last year, and they have many of the same parts from last season on the offensive side. As far as defense, well, that's been the foible so far for this team. They've been very weak. A lot of kids on campus begging for the Wildcats to get rid of their defensive coordinator. That could be an issue this weekend because I believe Texas Tech knows how to move the ball a little bit. They've got Graham Harrell, one of the best quarterbacks in the league, and he's throwing to definitely the best wide receiver in Mike Crabtree. This is the best of last year, and so far he's been almost as good this season. This guy knows how to play the game. Kansas State does have Josh Freeman once again at quarterback. He's a talented player, but I think their defense is going to be in too much trouble. So Texas Tech gets the edge in this one, even playing on the road. And next up, a good game to discuss when it comes to the hardwood. UNC and UConn, 2 very good traditional basketball programs, have gotten pretty competitive on the football field as well. Give UConn a lot of credit. They're 5-0, not bad for a team that really just began a couple of seasons ago. So that note, I think UConn's a team to certainly keep an eye on because they played very well against some teams. They played against Virginia. They won 45-10. They also knocked off Louisville. This is a team that's got some pretty good wins under their belt. As far as UNC, they're coming off their best win as well. They had a big win over Miami this past weekend, and the most importantly for them, they ended up finding out who their quarterback is. He goes by the name of Cameron Sexton. He's like a third option, but he seems to be working for them. Butch Davis seems to be very comfortable with that team. As far as on the other end, what to expect from Utah, they just got dealt a pretty bad injury. Tyler Lorenzen is their quarterback. He's going to be out for a while. Not the worst thing in the world because their best part of their game is definitely the rush, and Donald Brown is as healthy as could be right now. This is a guy who's averaging over 180 yards per game on the ground. He's got 11 touchdowns in just 5 games. That explains why UConn's been so successful, but I think playing at UNC is going to be a little too much for them. I expect a disappointment for them and definitely a surprise for us. Expect UNC to win this one in a matchup of 2 very good basketball teams that, hey, they're not that bad at football either. Well, my friends, that's It's a Shaw Thing for now. Until next time, and have a great weekend.
So you think you can tackle a pro? There's only one way to find out. Click on fantasy at opensports.com.